Hello, welcome everyone to post NXT Takeover 30 review show. I am Jeremy Lambert. No idea what I'm doing hosting. No idea why I'm here. Sean Ross Sapp is off doing better things than reviewing this show. He's like, you take over. You've banned NXT from your program, but watch this show, review it anyway. Get Alex on. Alex Pawlowski is here. I don't recognize him because he's not a member of Retribution tonight, but get Alex on. He knows what's going on NXT. Alex, how are you doing?
Better before I watch that show.
It's takeovers don't miss. That's what everybody tells me. Takeovers don't miss.
They don't usually. I mean, I'm so wary of the booking decisions and how they're moving pieces around and using people since call-ups that have gone nowhere and things like that I'm very wary of what WWE NXT has become.
Guys, subscribe to Fightful Select. Sean's dropping a bunch of news over there. He just dropped something on Rey Mysterio. He apparently was mentioned on AEW, but it got edited off. So go check that out. He dropped another story from AEW over there. Leave a super chat. If you leave a super chat, you can get your statement or comment or question read on the air. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fightful Wrestling, Fightful MMA, and give us a thumbs up on the video as well. Let's get into this show, Alex. We had the pre-show with Breezango against Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch against Legata del Fantasma, Raul Mendoza, and Joaquin Wilde. The winners get a tag team title shot against Imperium. Breezango picks up the victory when Breeze was looking for the unprettier. Lorcan charge, hit uppercut. Breeze hit the super kick for the win. What do you think of this tag team number one contender match?
Good for Breezango. I hope they win because they put the belts on Imperium and then didn't do anything with Imperium. I think they've appeared on TV like twice since they won the tag belts. That I don't understand why you decided to put the tag belts on a team that's not gonna show up, because they won the tag belts I think in like early June, and they've been on TV like twice since. So if you're not going to use Imperium, which I mean, I like Imperium. I love Bartel and Eichner. I think you should use them all the time. They're really fun to watch. But if you're not going to use them, put the tag straps on somebody you are going to use. So put them on Breezango. Have them be a transitional champion to whoever.
Don't transitional champion them.
Like,
give them a long reign.
I would love for them to have a long reign. I love Fandango. I love Tyler Breeze. I think it's a very cool thing. They said, we're going to find a way to shoehorn Tyler Breeze into the 30th takeover, considering he was on the first takeover. And I mean, like, also, like, the thing that is amazing is, like, 5 years to the day, he had his match with Jushin Thunder Liger at TakeOver Brooklyn. So this guy is a absolute NXT OG. It's his first gold he's ever held on any level of WWE. It's
lower level of WWE.
Well, I mean, I'm saying he never held it like the Intercontinental title or whatever.
No, he is the left right champion, Alex Pawlowski, and that is a bigger accomplishment than WWE. Way bigger accomplishment.
I overlooked. I'm sorry, my fault. But I think it's great. I think it's fine. They seem to be like running afoul constantly of Legado del Fantasma, so maybe they're going to have like a feud with them. My pitch had been maybe you end up putting the straps on Legado del Fantasma and they freebird him, like Escobar only decides when it's prudent, when he needs to defend the titles, that he will show up with that. It might be interesting to see him as like a two straps kind of a guy, because I think he's got a lot of star power. One thing I didn't love was that they've gone away from the whole suits to the ring thing, which I love the luchadors in suits thing. And now Joaquin Wilde's coming down like wearing an Ed Hardy shirt and a backwards ball cap. I understand it's your own style, DJZ. I mean, that's cool and everything. But I like it when it's a unified front, like him and Mendoza coming down wearing suits, taking off the blazers, taking off the slacks, and getting ready to actually go in and fight. The match itself was fine and fun. Lorcan and Burch are the definition of fantastic hands. Not good hands. They're fantastic hands. They'll do whatever you ask of them and always make the people they're facing look great. But good for Breezango. I'm glad they have the titles. Yeah, either let them hold it for 6 months or make them part of a cool story to get them the belts on somebody who is going to hold them for a while.
I like that Breezango won. I think they should be doing more with Breezango. And like you said, Imperium hasn't really been there. So put the titles on Breezango. I think Tyler Breeze is great. Anyone, yeah. I mean, people know my up, down, down fandom. And I watched the show today and he was just killed it in this feud with Xavier Woods that they got going on, which is the best feud of the year. By the way, the up, down, down versus left, right feud. So the more they can do with Breezango, I think the better. It was a good match. I thought everybody got showcased, and it was a pre-show match. What'd you make of the set? They went with a special kind of triple X set there, kind of like the WrestleMania 30 set.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, I guess the only way I would say this could have been more special, I suppose, if you had done it in the Thunderdome. Because it's the 30th takeover and everything. But yeah, I mean, it would have been weird if they hadn't done some kind of set with it because they're like billing it as Takeover 30, not like, Takeover Orlando again.
30 years of Takeover, according to Natalia.
Which I honestly feel like is a bit with her new character where she's hanging out with Lana. Like Lana's stupidity is rubbing off on Natalia. I hope it's a bit. Otherwise, Natalia, shame on you.
I don't know if it's a bit or not, but it got a chuckle out of me on, I guess it was Instagram Live that she did it on. Reminder, guys, leave a super chat. We have one from J.K. Shaw who says, does Alex also chuckle at any reference to Sands of Time with Kross thanks to Saudi? Also, fun day for the Bucks and Thunder. Heartbreaks for JH, which is Joe Holbert. Do you chuckle at Sands of Time?
I mean, I suppose I would. I would be happy if Kross only wrestled at Sands of Time shows. Like maybe they'd be like he's a special guest. You only bring him out for the Sands of Time shows because I'm pretty much done with that character.
Yeah, the problem could they do Scarlet at Sands of Time? Could they bring her? I guess they brought Lana and everybody over. I don't know how they'd go over her singing with on those shows. I don't know if the people would be into that too much. They're showcasing this woman too much here. I chuckle at the Sands of Time. It makes me think of those references every single time when they said it. And so I dislike you for that.
Yeah.
And yes, the Bucks are up 2-1. The Thunder are down 2-1. It's okay. We're going to come back. The point guard, Chris Paul, led us to victory today. And Joseph, send him kind messages, everybody. Joseph is having a rough time with his basketball team, unfortunately.
Yeah. They got a bad draw. The Sixers got a really bad draw. The Celtics look really, really well coached.
Well, they got a bad draw, and then Ben Simmons got hurt.
Well, that's true. It's true. I was going to say the Celtics look really, really well coached, which you can't say for the Sixers. But
you definitely cannot say that for the Sixers. Definitely not. Let's move on to the main show with Finn Balor against Timothy Thatcher. Balor immediately attacks Thatcher in this match, which I thought was absolutely awesome. I love this match. Great wrestling. The counters by Timothy Thatcher. He had an answer for everything. Balor also was able to hang with him on the mat. Balor ends up picking up the victory with coup de grace in 1969. Wasn't a lot of build to this match, I don't think, but as far as just a straight pro wrestling match, no nonsense, no bullshit, these guys crushed it.
I love that Balor was like, I know you're going to try and force me out of my game, so I'm just going to decide to play your game to start. Like he was going in for the grappling early and saying, I can play this too. I've wrestled all over the world. I'm the Prince friggin' Devitt. I can do whatever I want. And I love that he wasn't intimidated by Timothy Thatcher. And I love that Thatcher was like, oh, okay, game on. And I think that's a great way to never was I watching this thinking, all right, well, this is the part where the baby face gets his offense in until he makes a mistake, and then the heel takes control, and then the heel wears down the baby face till the baby face makes a comeback, and then we have the final sequence. Like I didn't feel that at all watching this. Like there's too many cookie cutter matches of which the main event was one, but this felt like just two great wrestlers wrestling. It did not feel like a WWE product at all. It felt like two great wrestlers wrestling. It's odd that a WWE product rarely ever feels like two great wrestlers wrestling, considering WWE employs most of the great wrestlers in the world. But I will say that it did feel like a step away from the WWE style that I lament so much. This felt urgent, which is odd, as you said, because there really wasn't a build-up to this match. But I mean, Thatcher had some kind of slight that he felt from Finn Balor. So he prevented Finn Balor from getting into the ladder match for the North American title. So they made this match. Both guys hate each other for whatever reason, even though it hasn't been built up for weeks. It still felt urgent to them in the moment, and that's what mattered to me.
Yeah, I'm fine if they do just no bullshit pro wrestling, straight up wrestling. Just go out there. Who's the better guy? Who is the better wrestler? Go prove it. And that's what this match was. I love this match. I thought it was the best match on the show, to be honest. So I love this match. Where do you think they're going with Balor now? Because his NXT return has been kind of cold in my estimation.
Well, that's the problem is I have no idea what they had planned for him before COVID. Like they were teasing stuff between him and Walter.
Yeah,
like they were going to do Takeover Dublin, where he was going and face Walter for the title. Walter never loses. Like they could have done an amazing thing where like they had like loaned Finn Balor, who I'm sure would love to go hang out in the British Isles for a few months and just hold that strap and be a god walking around the British wrestling scene for a few months. I mean, that might have been what they had planned on doing, but this whole thing got in the way. I think when he first returned to NXT, he was red hot. Like I was so excited to see this new, like sleek, like toned, like pared down, just like I am the prince and I'm going to F you up. Like that guy was a great character. I love what they did with it. And then they kind of tripped over their own feet figuring out what they were going to do with him. If not the original pre-COVID plan, they didn't know what to do with him. Besides that, he was absent for a while, all that stuff. I think that you could heat him up now. Like he has a standing rivalry with Priest from before. Like you could easily have him go after the North American title now. They have a new guy who's the friggin' NXT champion. You could have him go after that, but the way they're booking that guy, it doesn't look like he's going to lose before 2022. So I mean, I honestly don't know where they go with him, but you can heat him up with like the flick of a match, and he'll go become white hot because he has that within him to do. So push him in some direction, and he'll go. I don't know where that is though.
NXT UK is coming back September 17th. I know you're excited about that. Happy birthday to me, by the way. That's 2 days after my birthday.
Wow. Yeah.
That's my birthday gift to me.
That's like a week before my birthday. So we're happy for the birthday, boys.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was really weird to watch that promo and be like, who are the faces who are missing? I remember some guys the last time I watched who don't appear to be in this promo. That's weird. I wonder where they went. So it is kind of weird that like basically we're back from rehab and we're better than ever. Good. I mean, good for the people who aren't awful and are still employed by this company. Good for them that they will have an outlet to actually do this again. That's good. It remains to be seen what they're actually going to do with the shows.
Yeah. I don't know with NXT UK. I don't know how many people watch that show, but hey, they're getting work again. Leave a super chat. I'll try to read them. If you leave it on a certain segment, I'll read it during the segment. So if you're wondering why your super chat has not been read, it's probably because you're talking about the main event and we haven't gotten to the main event yet. My guy, Anakin JMT, does send a super chat. Says, have a good show, guys. Played Avengers beta with my son, so I'll catch Takeover and post show tomorrow. By the way, Jeremy, how sick was the left right title? It was awesome. We talked about it earlier. Put that instead of Takeover. Oh, hashtag FTF, he says. That's a different person. We don't hashtag FTF. Hashtag Point God tonight, everybody. Hashtag Point God. That's the hashtag you got to be using. North American. Oh, we had another super chat. Alex, between 1 and the Bucks game, One, how worried are you of NXT?
Oh, I don't know what the scale is exactly, but the answer is very. I'm very worried about NXT. I'm not sure how that between 1 and the Bucks game is like.
Yeah.
It was 1 very worried to the Bucks game. I wasn't worried about this Bucks game. I was worried after game 1. I'm not worried now. I'm worried about the Heat in the second round. So I guess like on a scale of 1 to the Bucks game, I'll go 6. I'm not really sure how this works, but I'm very worried about NXT.
That super chat was from Kross. I apologize. I didn't read your name initially. NXT North American title ladder match. Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream. Bronson Reed rocking some sweet Bam Bam Bigelow gear.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was your typical ladder match. A lot of cool spots. I like the ladder in the corner. Everybody was stacked up in the corner, and then Reed did the big splash, the slingshot DDT that Gargano did. Damian Priest did the Shelton Benjamin run up to the ladder through the senton to the outside. He looked like he was nearly slipped, nearly killed himself. Yep. Fortunately, he saved it and was able to hit the spot. But what do you think of the early portions of this match?
Well, the early portion. Okay, I have something to say about the finish of the match. But
okay,
the early portions, I was into because I liked that you had such wildly different personalities and wrestler types. Like I love the inclusion of the beefy dude, the guy who's there to like take a lot of crazy shots. My favorite, one of my favorite things that Bronson Reed did was very simple. He had a ladder laid across 2 guys, and then the senton to the middle of the ladder where the guys weren't, but his weight distributed evenly over the other 2 guys. Like it hurt him, but it hurt them more because they were crushed by a ladder. Like that felt like a new interesting way of doing that spot where your body weight on a ladder on top of another dude is supposed to hurt them more than you like diving off another ladder onto that thing. Ladder match psychology is always weird to me because a lot of the offense you do to a guy with a ladder always looks like it hurts you more than the other dude. But I liked what they were going with this stuff. I thought it was well paced to start out with. A lot of big spots, not too many early. They were building to things, but I thought this was going well as these ladder matches go.
We had Candice LeRae run in. I love that she just came in and just like casually tipped over the ladder as well.
Nope. Yeah. I also love that Candice LeRae, who has wrestled many, many men in her career, not here though, knows, you can't touch me. I am a girl and you're not allowed to touch me, so I tipped over your ladder. What do you say about that? Ha ha! I love that she is that self-aware to be like, here, you can't do anything to me, so I'm going to mess with your match. If it was in PWG, I'd have to be wearing a helmet right now, but here it's fine. I think that it's kind of cool that she's able to play that role in that moment. That was late enough in the match that I was like, oh no, they're gonna misjudge this whole thing and put the title on Gargano again. That wouldn't be good. That's not the position he's in right now. You got to figure that out for yourselves. Thankfully that didn't happen, but in that moment I was concerned. This was the beginning of how the NXT style has become 75 near falls and then the end. Well, I'm like, at least they can't do that in a ladder match. They tried. Every single guy had his hand like dangling right next to the belt and then got knocked off. So there were near falls in a ladder match where there are no falls. There were near victories, but for everybody in the match, there was a point where I was like, oh my God, everybody's down. The only man who's still standing is Velveteen Dream. They're not going to do this, right? They're not going to do this, are they? Right? And they didn't. But credit to them for making me that freaked out about it. But it was very odd to me that they figured out a way to do all the near falls in a match with no falls.
The Velveteen Dream spot, he was on top of the ladder, and then Bronson Reed tipped over the ladder, and Velveteen goes over the guardrail, crashes onto a couple tables. Justin Lopez said, so did they kill off Dream here? LOL. It seemed like it. It certainly seemed like they killed off Velveteen Dream.
they're smart and they the room over the past few days, they can buy themselves some time at least to say he's not medically cleared because he was nearly murdered by Bronson Reed and a ladder. And then they can take him off TV for a month while they actually do an investigation.
Not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. But they can buy themselves some time to do whatever they want to do about this. I don't think they're going to do anything, but they have the opportunity to do the right thing.
They've already investigated, Alex. Let's move on. No more questions about Velvet. Move on. That's what Triple H says. Move on. We investigated it. We found nothing. Nothing. Okay.
We investigated ourselves and we found out we didn't do anything wrong.
Damian Priest gets a victory. It comes down to Gargano and Priest. The belt becomes unhooked, and then Priest kicks Gargano in the face, knocks him off the ladder, grabs the belt for himself. Damian Priest, your new NXT North American champion. What do you think?
I mean, good for Priest, I guess. Like they toyed with him being near that championship for a long time. They turned him face, then they turned him back tweener. Then they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. My pick was Grimes. I thought that they were actually setting up pretty well for Grimes to win the match. He took that sick bump off a botch bomb that did not land flush on the ladder at all.
No, sunset bomb. That looked looked rough. Yeah.
It didn't look good for Gargano either, but it looked worse for Cameron Grimes. Because I just think that WWE across all brands is so enamored with the chicken shit heel mid-card champion whose whole thing is I don't want to fight anybody, which I thought that Cameron Grimes would fit in perfectly. Loudmouth, will never back it up, will always find a way to lose by count out and stuff like that. So I'm glad that isn't the thing they're going to try to do with this title, considering what they appear to be doing with the NXT championship. It looks like the North American title is the only singles title for the men's side that will be changing hands anytime in the next decade. So I'm happy that that might actually be the workhorse title. They might actually have Priest versus any number of guys. Any number of these guys, Thatcher, Loomis when he's back. Well, not Dream, just right Dream up.
He's dead. He's dead. Hopefully.
Any number of the other three guys, Grimes, Gargano, Reed. I liked the match that Reed had with Priest, and Reed has a thing where he can go to Regal and say, "Hey, remember a couple of weeks ago where I pinned Priest? Yeah, I want the first title shot." And Regal should be able to say, "Yes, I think you agree. I agree. You actually won that match. You get the first title shot." So there's Reed there. There's Grimes, who also has a long-standing rivalry. Balor, Loomis, Thatcher. There's all these guys in the mid card who could be the next North American champion. I think that's a good place for them to be. Again, considering that the NXT title is going to be held hostage by a dude and his sorceress wife for a while.
Balor beat Priest as well at the last takeover too, right? So you can
Balor can say, "Yes, hey, not so fast, big man. I get the first title shot," and then we get a Bronson Reed versus Finn Balor match I didn't know that I needed to figure out who's the first championship contender.
First, Damian Priest has got to get out of the hot tub with those ladies, and then Triple H, who also he did the point photo.
Yeah,
that was heavy shots at Chris Jericho, by the way. Bubbly, jumping in the hot tub with the leather pants. That was 100% heavy shots at Chris Jericho.
Yes, it certainly was.
Pat McAfee against Adam Cole. I thought this feud leading up. I don't think Pat McAfee means as much as they think he does, but full credit to Pat McAfee. I love this promo on Wednesday. I thought he's been killing it with media interviews. Adam Cole has thrown himself 100% into this as well. I had hopes for this match because Adam Cole is very good. And look, Pat McAfee might have been a punter. He was an NFL player. Those guys are athletes, all right? Punter, lineman, doesn't matter. All those guys are athletes. Pat McAfee, complete athlete here. Did a swanton onto the floor, looked beautiful. Did a backflip off the top rope, and then did a leap up superplex. The ending came where McAfee actually hit the punt on Cole. Cole kicked out. Cole took out his leg. I thought the ending was kind of dumb where McAfee just stands there and then stumbles into the Panama Sunrise. Adam Cole picks up the victory. Match was better than it had any right to be, and I thought McAfee looked really good.
McAfee looked way better than he needed to in order to secure an immediate contract offer from WWE. I said this after he did the promo on NXT TV. If this guy can go at all, you have to try and figure out a way to secure his services, because he's a better talker than 90% of your roster right now. And if he can do anything in the ring, you can teach him to do that while he's managing somebody using that amazing talking ability of his. It turns out he can do stuff already. And what a great guy to shepherd him through his first match, Adam Cole, who's the consummate professional, who's going to make him look great the whole time. The right guy won in Adam Cole. I agree with you. The finish was flat because it required McAfee to stand up and stagger over to a position and kind of bend over to take the Panama Sunrise. But that's a hell of a move to take in your first match.
Yeah.
Like you are saying, I am fearless. I will take this. I don't have any like Pat McAfee would not have needed Vince McMahon to show him how to do a stage dive onto a crash pad. He would have just done that shit from 2 stories up. I love how willing Pat McAfee was to like take big bumps, do like that thing that somersault off the top rope on all those dudes. He told a story like he was in control until he like kicked the stairs and then he sold the leg. Did you notice that this is the thing that I hate so much? When actual veterans will hurt themselves and sell the damage until they need to use that particular piece of like apparatus, that appendage, that particular knee or whatever to hit their moves. And then they all of a sudden I don't feel pain in that knee anymore. He hurt his right leg punting the steps. When he punted Adam Cole in the junk, he used his left leg. That's the mark of a natural. He knows he can't use the bad leg to do something to Adam Cole. He uses the opposite foot. I think that's great. Like he's got instincts. Apparently on this call with Triple H has said, well, I thought that McAfee just wanted to like come in and do this thing as a one-off and then become an announcer. He wants to wrestle full-time and be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like
good.
Which is like if you come into it on your first night and you deliver that promo, and on your actual first match you can do the backflips and stuff and all that stuff, you're already well on your way. When you have that kind of ridiculous confidence that you can say, yeah, sure, I'll take the Panama Sunrise, no problem. Sure, I'll do this backflip. Sure, I'll do this front flip into a crowd of dudes, no problem. When you have that, plus one day I shall be in the Hall of Fame. What's to stop him? Like apparently he has no fear. He's got an amazing talent for using his mouth. I'm really excited to see if they can actually bring him in and utilize him properly. I still think the first thing they should do is have him be the mouthpiece for somebody, because he can cut a hell of a promo. So while you're teaching him how to do all the other stuff, if he's in there with somebody who's not Adam Cole, I worry, because somebody who's not like if he's in there with Ridge Holland, both of them are going to end up dead. But if he's in there with Adam Cole, like it looks great. So let's see what they can do with him if he decides to actually show up. The fact that he wants to, that's a big thing in my eyes.
Crossstick says between one and Herman Cain, how sick was Pat McAfee's backflip? Doing better than Herman Cain, I would think.
It was certainly very sick. I will say that.
Yeah. Look, if Pat McAfee wants to transition full time, I'm all for it. I said put the title on this guy because I think he's the best promo right now. Maybe because he's actually has freedom and he just doesn't care. He's clearly a natural athlete, like you said with the kick. He didn't use his power leg. And so that's why he only, when he laid him out on NXT a few weeks ago, that was his punting leg. That was his power leg. This was not. This was his plant leg, not quite as strong. And so that's why he only got the 2 count here. I thought McAfee was great, and I hope they can find a way to utilize him more. And I know I would not have been saying that 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, when I saw this work shoot thing on McAfee's show, and I was just like, what are they doing with Adam Cole after his title reign? Why are they having him do a match with a former punter who is now a radio host who does the pre-show panel? Like, what are they doing with this guy? But after this, now what are they doing with Pat McAfee? That's what I want to know. What's next for Pat McAfee, not Adam Cole?
Yeah, I I want Pat McAfee to get some heavies that aren't former linebackers who can't tackle people. I bye AJ Hawk. Get him some actual heavies to be his backup. I don't know who those guys are, but
what's Aaron Donald up to? I think he's actually playing, but get him Aaron Donald.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying actual football players, but like other guys that he could use. Like Dabakato. I mean, he had a couple of matches on Raw Underground, but bring him over. Let him be the guy that Pat McAfee hides behind. Like that could be a lot of fun stuff. He's like, I would have a match with you, Adam. I have another rematch, but I hurt my kicking foot, and I need that to kick you in the face. Like I think there's a lot of fun stuff they can do with him.
I'm with you. More Pat McAfee. Put the title. Let him beat Damian Priest. Put the NXT North American title on him.
Honestly, if they did that on Wednesday, I would not be mad.
NXT Women's Championship match. Io Shirai against Dakota Kai. Dakota gets an early advantage. A lot of work on the elbow here, which was fine in this match. They kind of screwed it up, but in the next match. But for this match, it was good. Kai, I thought, looked excellent in this match. I don't know what you think of her, Alex, but I thought she looked very good in this match. Io Shirai is, I don't know if she's the best they have on the roster. I think she's the best they have on the NXT roster. Mm-hmm. And Dakota Kai hung with her move for move, I thought. Well,
this is where I started to go like, this is good WWE wrestling.
Fair.
It's a formula that is laid out the way that it always happens, which is that the champion or the baby face or whatever is grounded. Like the genius of the sky gets to be put in an arm lock for most of the match. Ooh, fun to watch. Like that's not what I'm watching Io Shirai matches for. I understand the ring psychology of it. Like Dakota Kai was right to do this, but it's not a shoot fight. Like you decide what the matches are. Like, so you could do something that's more fun. Dakota Kai hanging with Io Shirai, getting to do all of her normal stuff. That's something I'd like to watch. But as it was, like, I thought Dakota Kai did all the right things in this style of match. It's just not my favorite thing to watch. That's why I hate Baron Corbin matches, because he grounds the guy who's exciting to watch and puts him in a headlock or what is it? Half crossface, whatever the hell they call that thing.
Yes.
I'm done watching those matches. Like, I don't care how great the competitors are. That style of match is not my cup of tea anymore. I tune out. Like, because I know that Io Shirai is not going to tap to that. So it's like 5-6 minutes of her being in a rest hold where I'd rather see her jump off of things. Like it's frustrating because I know they're building to a sequence at the end, which is going to be entertaining. But until that sequence starts, I would fast forward through it if I had the opportunity. The finish with the ref bump and Raquel Gonzalez getting involved, it was very, very, overbooked WWE Championship match. It's fun to let the women have one of those because usually it's the men. But I thought this was all really well handled. Io Shirai kicking out after Raquel did an amazing chest choke slam thing that she does. I thought that was good. There were a couple of really great things that Dakota Kai did. I really love her lung blower that she pulls over to the side as opposed to behind, and I loved her like her GTS style thing that she did off the top rope. That was great. Dakota Kai's excellent. I love watching her wrestle. I wish I wasn't watching her put somebody in a half crossface. For lack of a better term.
I don't mind at least for this match, because it was, for this show, something different. It was, yes, formulaic WWE style, sure. But this show had been a lot of action, a lot of cool spots and stuff. So if you want to do something different, you knew they were building to something. I don't think it took away from the match. It made sense. No. Like you said, you ground Io Shirai. Okay, maybe that's not what you want to see. Maybe you want to see Dakota Kai hang with Io Shirai in the sky. But I thought for this match, it worked. I think the problem, at least for me, was they do it during this match, and then they come right back to it in the main event, which we'll get to. And that it took away from the main event. But I thought this match was good. And then the finishing sequence, like you said, ref bump, Gonzalez comes in, hits the choke bomb, whatever you want to call it. But Io survives. Io ends up picking up the victory. Afterwards, they're attacking Io. Rhea Ripley comes down, confronts Gonzalez. Everybody just kind of backs off, plays it cool. There's this excellent shot of Io with the belt, and then Rhea is in the background going up the ramp, and you can just see Rhea behind Io of like, yep, she's there. So I hope they've got something with Rhea moving forward. They killed her at WrestleMania, killed her dead at WrestleMania, and now this is the chance to really heat her up again and do something with her. And I hope they do. I'm looking forward to Gonzalez and Rhea whenever it happens. Don't give me 1,500 tag matches before it happens. Keep them apart.
Absolutely. I think that the only thing I don't love about Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez is that it ends my Rhea Ripley versus Mercedes Martinez best of 7 series before it even begins. But that's okay. Mercedes Martinez is dead now because she got powerbombed onto the concrete. RIP in peace, Mercedes Martinez. But yeah, Raquel versus Rhea Ripley's great. They look so good standing next to each other like that, like the stare down, eye to eye, because Raquel Gonzalez is literally 4 times the size of everybody else except for Rhea Ripley. Like, I love that. That's, oh, well, now you can't pick on people. Pick on somebody your own size. Me. I think that's a really great hook for this. I also love that Rhea's like, I just want to make sure you don't think you're next in line, bitch. That's me. So if I got to go through you to get that title back, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's great. Let Rhea be a fantastic tweener for a while, then hard turn her back heel. Because the babyface thing doesn't work anymore unless she's got her edge. You stripped all that edge from her when she was like, golly gosh, gee whiz, to think that I, a girl from Australia, could possibly ever wrestle in this stadium with a pirate ship in it in Tampa Bay, Florida. Oh, my stars. I had never thought that a city could be so big. That ruined everything. And then, of course, they had her lose that match. So I think you can figure out a way to actually keep her, give her that hard edge, and then eventually turn her back heel. Have spoiler alert for anybody who didn't watch AEW tonight. Spoiler alert.
Don't turn off the show, everybody. Just
have her do to Io what somebody did to Cody.
Somebody, people who just don't know who Cody wrestled tonight.
Exactly. What somebody with a long black bushy beard, that somebody whose last name rhymes with P, what that person did to Cody tonight, have Rhea do to Io Shirai. Like,
they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do it. But it would be something so different than what they normally do with this kind of stuff. Make it mean something. For example, we're about to talk to them about this next match. If they had done something like that with this next match, that would mean something. What they did was plod along until they had a flat finish. And that's definitely not the way you do this particular title transition, in my opinion.
Do we have to talk about this next match? Are we required to?
I think we are.
Oh, that's a shame. We're running through this show. I told you yesterday, I was like, we're going to be done with this show in like 30 minutes.
We are. It's the two of us going like, well, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Here's the thing. We're going to speculate. There's this good spot. Moving on.
This is the thing. I've banned NXT. Well, Joseph has banned NXT from our program. So I don't even know what's going on these weekly shows. I just watch Takeover. I'm a professional, folks. I watch all the weekly shows. But look, NXT for me, and I feel like, Alex, you're getting there as well, it hasn't been quite the same recently. And this Takeover felt kind of cold. I thought this main event coming into it felt kind of cold. I like the video package they did on Wednesday. But the magic stuff and sign the contract and get a fireball in your face, like That does nothing for me. Okay, just absolutely nothing for me. And then they portray Kross as an MMA fighter. Like, cool. That's what I want to see. Just two dudes going out there beating each other up. I don't need all this fireball stuff. I got a bunch of super chats here on the main event, so I'm gonna read these. If you want, again, get your question, statement, comment right on the air. Leave a super chat. A lot on the main event here. People all over the place on this main event. We got Dizzy C saying, I enjoyed the rest of the show, but man, that main event was a dud. Karrion Kross makes unmotivated Randy look like Rey Mysterio. Don't disrespect the greatest of all time, Randy Orton. Okay? Don't disrespect Randy Orton.
Not this Randy Orton. Unmotivated Randy Orton from 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, okay. That's this guy.
That's fair. DZC also says Alex needs to be consistent because his gripes with the main event build wasn't with Kross winning clean. For weeks, he's been complaining about how it'd be a booking nightmare where they won't beat either clean rather than about the guy to go over. Explain yourself, Alex.
Well, no, listen. I always said they booked themselves into a corner. Like they did. Like they said, we're gonna have this match, and one guy's got to win. So either they pick one guy at the expense of another guy, which is a bad option, or they try and protect both guys by having a crazy, stupid finish, which is a bad option. You have two bad options. They picked one. They picked the worst of the bad options. Like, to me, putting over Karrion Kross in a slow, plodding, dull match with a flat finish is the worst option. The best option is keeping the title on Keith Lee. The worst option is what they did for me. And somewhere in the middle, there's a, hey, look at us being weird and clever. We tried to find a way to protect them both and we failed. That's also a bad option. To me, what they did was the worst option.
I thought that Scarlett should have cast a spell on Keith Lee in the middle of the match.
Good.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's like conjured up a swarm of bats that only Keith Lee can see. And he starts doing this in the middle of the ring and falls over dead.
See, that's what they should have gone with. Like, you don't need to do this wrestling stuff. Do your hokey stuff that Bray Wyatt's doing. Smoke some of that Bray Wyatt peyote and start. That's how you should start booking. That's how you should start booking NXT. Avery Dunn says, if this was the plan with Kross and Lee, then why didn't Lee lose the North American title earlier, then lose to Kross? North American title is more legit, and Lee has a story after. Look, Keith Lee, he won both belts, and then he was like, got to give other opportunities. Got to, these other people deserve opportunities too. I'm going to vacate this title. That was the story because that thing never made sense. Putting both titles on him and then having him vacate a title a week later. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. There were things they could have done that they didn't do. They like, listen, if the idea was to get the title on Damian Priest, there were ways of doing that. You could have had Damian Priest and Keith Lee have a match and have Karrion Kross screw Keith Lee out of that title. And that's how Karrion Kross gets his title match. And then you have Damian Priest. Now, I liked all these little qualifying triple threats and everything. That was fun to get to the ladder match. Ladder match was great, but if the whole object was to get the title on Damian Priest and to get this title off of Keith Lee and on to Karrion Kross, there are ways of doing that didn't make Keith Lee look like a dope for giving up one title belt and look bad in his championship defense against Karrion Kross, because he looked bad in this match. Like he did not look like Keith Lee at all.
Justin Lopez says Triple H said on his post-show call that Kross separated his shoulder, will have an MRI, might explain the anticlimactic finish. Maybe. I mean, I don't wish an injury on the guy, but no. Hopefully they have some explanation, because that match, I mean, let's get into it. It was the best part of the match to me was they roll outside early, and I swear someone yells, "Bask in his ass." And I was like, this match is all downhill from here. I don't know who yelled that, but bless that man at the Performance Center or Full Sail. After that, it was 50 minutes of arm work. Keith Lee had a couple of hope spots, and then Kross kicked out of a spirit bomb, and then Kross won with a middle rope side suplex, and Karrion Kross is your champion. I mean, there wasn't much to this match. No, I didn't think it did Keith Lee anything. I thought he looked terrible in this match. Just terrible.
He really did. They did him no favors with the way this match was laid out. Like, we didn't get to see like a big spot. He only got to do one of his big moves. He did the Spirit Bomb, and Kross kicked out at like 1.9. Like, he didn't even get to 2.5. He kicked out like 1.9. I was like, well, that's a choice. Now I guess we'll get to see what, like, Keith Lee do more and more things, trying to put away Karrion Kross. He's going to hit him with a Big Bang Catastrophe. No, he's going to hit him with a Spirit Bomb and then a Big Bang Catastrophe. No, like, I thought they were going to do that. They didn't even do any of that. Like, now, it very well may be that he hurt himself at some point in the match and they had to, like, call it on the fly, and they ended it the way they did because of that. That doesn't explain at the beginning where, like, Keith Lee like winds up with his arm between a metal guardrail and some plexiglass and gets the guardrail kicked into his arm, which, like, oh, not the plexiglass. That's gonna break his elbow bone for sure. Like, that's a stupid thing. I hate when they do the thing where, the babyface, he got a little carried away and he left himself open, and then the heel took advantage, and now the heel's just gonna work over that particular body part for the next 20 minutes. It doesn't do anything for me, especially with these guys. If you're actually trying to get me to be impressed by Karrion Kross, like, having him just work over Keith Lee a lot, it just, I don't know, like beat him. Like, that would, again, not that I wanted this, but it would actually have been a statement if Karrion Kross came in and, like, took a couple of big moves from Keith Lee and was like, nope, and then hit a bunch of them in a row, the way he beat Tommaso Ciampa. Like, like, all of a sudden Keith Lee's like, whoa, that was not at all what I was expecting. And then you might have a storyline. Triple H on his media call says, wait and see. We got a storyline in place for Keith Lee. That's why he had a really short championship reign. Wait and see. Wait and see my ass. Triple H, you never pay off with any of that stuff. But that might have been one. If Keith Lee got his ass kicked, lost a 5-minute match, was totally unprepared for going against Karrion Kross, and then we get a rematch and it lasts like 20 minutes and it's a really great, like, back and forth. Or this could have been like a Brock Lesnar style match. 8 to 10 minutes, a sprint, two big dudes going at each other full force the whole way until one guy hits 2 big moves in a row, and that's it. But this was not it. Whether it was caused by the separated shoulder that Kross suffered or not, it just did not work. It didn't work.
Drew Nicholas says exactly what you mentioned. Triple H telling us, stay tuned for Lee, and people will understand over time. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Mentioning Charlotte post WrestleMania 36. Yeah, Triple H said the same thing when at the last Takeover media call, because Io Shirai pinned Ripley and not Charlotte, and somebody asked, okay, what does this mean for Charlotte? He's like, well, we've got plans. You know, it all makes sense why Charlotte came to NXT and then didn't actually lose to anybody on NXT. Don't worry. We've got plans, and then Charlotte hasn't been seen for months now.
Like, I thought there would have been plans involved if, like, Rhea Ripley had been like, you got me that time, Charlotte, but I know I'm better than you. And we got a rematch, and Rhea won her title back. Like, that could have been a storyline. You could have done that, but you didn't. You had Charlotte win, never lose, never be pinned by anybody in NXT, which is just basically like a statement saying Charlotte is better than all the girls in NXT. Nobody can possibly beat her. The only way she lost is via technicality. That's not a good storyline. That's not a stay tuned.
They put the title on Keith Lee at part 2 of Great American Bash, which was announced a week before the actual. So they clearly had plans for that. And then he just gives up the North American title, and then he loses his first big title defense at a Takeover. What are they doing with Keith? What point of this double championship thing? Look, I think we all know what the actual point was, but what was the point of this double championship reign for Keith Lee?
I honestly don't know. I think it looks like the point was to put the title on Karrion Kross, to cement his meteoric rise since debuting. Now, that may be it, I don't know why Keith Lee has to lose the North American title in order to do it. Again, they say, wait and see, stay tuned for Keith Lee. Like, if Keith Lee is revealed as the leader of Retribution, like, oh, good, we got that to look forward to. But I mean, whatever it is they're going to do with him, it doesn't feel like it's going to justify him becoming a double champ and then becoming a 0 champ within a couple of weeks. It doesn't make sense to me.
Rafael Garcia says, once again, WWE has failed viewers of color excited about a champion that looks like them. Yeah, look, I saw a lot of my friends who are African American on the timeline being like, what's going on here with Keith Lee? They had something with this guy last year at Survivor Series and at Royal Rumble, and he should have been like, they should have made him right there, like going into WrestleMania. Instead, they cooled him off completely. They did the double title thing. It's like, okay, you cooled him off, but now you gave him 2 titles. You can make something out of this. And now he's just a dude who looks terrible against Karrion Kross and just gives up one of his titles.
Yeah, the Keith Lee thing, like his rise through. Again, we talked about this recently on one of the NXT shows. Like Keith Lee, like Survivor Series was almost a year ago. We're almost to September. It's in November, so it was like basically 9.5, 10 months ago. That's a long ass time ago that he looked so great at Survivor Series weekend, where he had that standoff with Roman Reigns and nearly beat Roman Reigns. And then you put him in with Brock in the Royal Rumble, and he has a standoff with Brock, and like, this guy looks like he's ready to face Brock in a one-on-one match. And that's January, and now we're almost to September. And you finally get around to making him this double champ. You put him on you give him the top, and you weren't ready at the time to take the title off Adam Cole, and I get that. You finally are. You're ready to take the title off Adam Cole. You put it on Keith Lee, and what? Like, again, you had this lightning in a bottle that you had caught with Keith Lee, like getting over huge with the people who don't really watch NXT. They were like, that guy looks great. I like that guy. Let's figure out what we're going to do with him. 9 months later, the answer is not much. That's what you're going to do with him, is not much.
At least I could see in this match. I half expected him to come out with the blindfold on, and he couldn't the Rey Mysterio mask or something, whatever it might be. He just tries to go at it blind.
I would love to see him as like a Daredevil character, like
that would be awesome. Actually,
all of his other senses are heightened, but he can't see. Like, he can hear things going on from all around him, but he can't see.
They should 100% do a character like that. I don't know. Have they done like a blind character?
I mean, it would be perfect to do one to Rey Mysterio. Like, he's going to show up at SummerSlam tomorrow. Have Seth Tech the other eye, and then have Rey Mysterio just be blind for the rest of his career in WWE.
I said that they should have just, with that match, they should have CGI ripped his full eye out, because if he's gonna wear the mask with the eye patch anyway and no one's gonna know, right, just go full out instead of have a gummy worm eyeball in his eye and then say, I got reattached. It's fine.
Yep.
Anything else from this show? Overall thoughts on this show on a scale of 1 to the Bucks game 1. What did you make of this show, Alex Pawlowski?
Well, listen. I have no control over this, so I have to sit and watch, see what they're going to do. If Kross is really hurt and has to miss some serious time, I don't know what they do with this title. If they say stay tuned, we got stay tuned. We got big plans for Keith Lee, which is what? I guess we got to stay tuned and find out. With takeovers used to be able to grade them on the show itself. Like, this is a while ago now, like over a year ago. You could grade the takeover on what it was. Now, because of their recent booking quandaries, you have to go like, okay, where is this leading us? I'm apprehensive. How apprehensive am I? I don't know, like a 6.5. Like, I don't know where all this stuff is. Like, I'm glad Io Shirai is still the champion. That angle with Rhea Ripley is intriguing. I think that both Balor and Thatcher come out of that match looking really good. The North American title picture is wide open, which is good. Breezango are possibly going to be tag champions soon. That would be good. So we have to see where that goes. Right now, like, did I have a good time watching this episode, this thing? No. Outside of like Balor and Thatcher, which I really respected for just in-ring technical genius, and McAfee versus Cole, which I was like so impressed by this guy having his first ever wrestling match and the way Cole helped him to deliver that. Outside of those two matches, I did not enjoy watching the show. So
my God, you are harsh. You're a harsh man on this show. I thought the wrestling was good. I'll give it like a 7.5. I thought the wrestling on this show was very good. Some of a lot of the angles, it was stay tuned stuff. The main event drops it because you need a killer main event. That's what people are going to remember the most. And if the rest of your show was great, but your main event sucks, like, people are going to remember that your main event sucked. Yeah. So that drops it. Everything else on this show I thought was great though. The booking leading into the show, I had questions about. The booking coming out of the show, let it play out, is the old saying, right? Yeah. So we'll let it play out on that. But as far as just the bell-to-bell wrestling on this show, I thought it was very good. And so I will give it a 7.5. Maybe I'm feeling generous because the Thunder won tonight and, I'm in a good mood. Had they lost, I'd probably just be like, yeah, the show was like 3, whatever. Who cares?
I should mention that, I somehow forgot about a 5-man ladder match for a championship. I enjoyed watching that too. I think I soured on having to not watch Io Shirai beat Io Shirai. And then the last match really did it to me. It made me retroactively hate the rest of the show. That's how much I hated the main event.
See, you're on the TEW scale of your spotlight is on main event focus. So you can have like a killer show, but if your main event gets like a 60, it drags your entire show rating down to like a 70 or something. And even if the rest of your shows are like in 90s. So that's how you're grading, Alex. That's fine. That's your scale. I thought this show was great outside of the main event. And this is the last time I'll ever have to talk about NXT because it's still banned from our program. Alex, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me at Alex Sourgraps on the Twitter. I do Sourgraps twice a week, covering Raw and SmackDown and how bad they are. And then also I cover NXT on Wednesdays. I guess Tuesday in a couple of weeks or whatever. Whenever they're moving around for the
yeah, that's not this week, but next week. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I cover NXT every week. And it used to be about how much it was so much better than Mondays and Fridays, and now it's depressingly how much it's getting closer to being Wednesday Night Raw.
Sign up to Fightful Select. You get Alex's show. Sean's always breaking news. Everybody message Sean. Let him know you want a Point God t-shirt. Alex has a shirt. Sean's got like 500 shirts. They want to do a shirt with where is my shirt, Alex? I'm on 300 programs on this website. I'm doing news every day. Where is my Point God shirt? Everyone message Sean WhatsApp. Let him know. See, look at this. Alex gets a shirt. Where's my Point God shirt?
I got a shirt. You need a logo. If you got a sweet logo where your face is,
I don't have a logo.
If you got a sweet logo where your face is a fruit, they print up shirts and people buy them. It's crazy.
They did an animated face for me for our Judas karaoke, so maybe we can do something.
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah, maybe we can do something with that. Yeah. I'm on the Fightful, that website. Very good website. Here it's got a lot of great news and a lot of great stories. Check out The Distraction every Thursday. On Tuesdays, Joseph Holbert and myself review movies. On Saturdays, for some reason, Sean lets us play TEW. I'm trying to do more with the gaming stuff. Tweet at Sean. Let him know you want me to do more with the gaming stuff and less with the wrestling stuff. Again, sign up to Fightful Select. We will join. Sean will be back tomorrow with the post SummerSlam review show with John Alba. Emmy winner John Alba. I'm sure he will mention that once or twice. They're going to tarp off the review tomorrow for SummerSlam. You'll never see it coming tomorrow. Under an hour, Alex. Under an hour. That is how it's done. Yep. Everyone, take care.
Bye.